Hi.
Hi.
Eccolo! Ci siamo persi. We lost each other, Giorgio.
I know that. Maybe it was me. I know, my fault.
I don't know. It looked like you were buffering, and then the line fell. So I don't know. Anyway, okay.
We start from the beginning.
Yes, please. Yes.
I was talking about Moscato. It was the first production. It was very important at the time. It's still very important now because, like I said before, is our biggest production is about Moscato. You know, but I think for any producer, any farmer in Piedmont, it's dream for any farmer to work with the other grapes like Barbera and then for sure Nebbiolo, because everybody, all the producers want to be involved in this Nebbiolo, Barbaresco, or Barolo production. This is why little by little we bought some different vineyards. The first vineyard, the second vineyard we bought, it was Barbera. After that, okay, and finally in 1995 we find this beautiful vineyard, Galina vineyard. I bought this vineyard in 1995. 1996 it was Starderi. 1997 it was Balerano. Up there we bought this vineyard of Campe in 2000.
Right.
It's not very long team because we took about from 77 to 2000, 2001. But no, it's,
right. I'll show you. Here's the here's one of the get some of the vineyards shown here.
It's easy to recognize Spinetta because the labels. For sure.
Yes, exactly.
I know that. A lot of people, they go at the restaurant, they want to have Rhino wine or Lion wine.
Right. You said, yeah, Galina was one of the first vineyards.
The
right?
first
Galina,
vintage, in 1995 was the first one, yeah. We were so excited, we are still very excited because Galina Vineyard is one of the most important single vineyard in all Barbaresco area. Yeah. You know, after that, after Barolo, we decided to do something outside Piedmont, and we decided to buy something in Tuscany. And we bought this beautiful property in Tuscany. Trust me, it's not a very well-known area because we talk about Colline Pisane, but there, if you are a good farmer, you can make beautiful job and you can make great wine. This is why we started with Sangiovese, old wine Sangiovese, and new wine Sangiovese, and in 2009 we started also with the white Vermentino and the rosé. I think it was great. It was also great because it was kind of bad for us. You know what? Because in that time it was not easy to find, especially in Chianti area, 100% Sangiovese. Most of the producers, they used to blend Sangiovese with Cab, Merlot, Syrah. And this is not part of our philosophy. In Piedmont, we are working with one variety.
Right.
Normally, it's indigenous grapes, indigenous variety from Piedmont, like Nebbiolo, Barbera. And for us to buy this property in Tuscany, it didn't change anything. We decided to do Sangiovese, Vermentino, Prugnolo Gentile, or Colorino. It was, and at the time it was not easy because to convince the people, we are making wine from Chianti, which kind of blend? Oh, they were asking me, which kind of blend? It's not a blend, it's Sangiovese in Tuscany. No?
Right.
It's a big part of our philosophy to work in Tuscany with Sangiovese, to work in Piedmont with Nebbiolo, Barbera, or Dolcetto, Moscato, typical variety from the region. Yeah, I don't want to.
So your interest was in trying to show your hand with Tuscan wine, or I mean, it was just an attraction because of a new region, and to be able to find. Yeah,
but I think also because Sangiovese is one of the most important varieties we have in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's easy for us to forget Brunello di Montalcino is from Sangiovese. You know?
Of course,
for me, Nebbiolo, Sangiovese, they are very close. They're very close, and really, we can make wine with different character, completely different wine, but both are very high in quality. This is why
you do something interesting on the submission sheet or the scheda di partecipazione that you send me that gives the technical information of your wine. You describe what would be 100% Sangiovese as a blend actually of Sangiovese and Prugnolo Gentile, which is a
this Sangiovese Prugnolo Gentile, we are making the rosé with Sangiovese Prugnolo Gentile.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Rosé is made with 50% Sangiovese, 50% Prugnolo Gentile.
Right.
Because the Sangiovese is giving the power, is giving the shoulder, and the Prugnolo Gentile is giving this elegant, the aromas, fruity. Yeah, it's a good blend.
Right, because there could be some debate on Prugnolo Gentile being a clone of Sangiovese or being part, right? So you're distinguishing the two to make sure that
of course, because for me, it could be different varieties because they're completely different. Also, the shape of the grapes is different. The lips, they are different. For me, it's different. Also, we harvesting a Puglia Gentile 1 week before the Sangiovese.
Right.
The berries, they are different. So the taste of Puglia Gentile is completely different than Sangiovese. It's less rustic, you know. Because Sangiovese could be very rustic when it's young, no? Rustic means aggressive, no? The aggressivity from the tannin. But Puglia Gentile, no, it's not never that. Puglia Gentile is much more round, much more refined. Yeah.
Right. So going back to Piemonte, the estate that I most associate you with is in Grinziana Cavour, you know, one of the comuni, or the villages, the 11 villages that make up the Barolo appellation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that territory and about that specific site?
I think we were really lucky because we bought this property in 2000. It's quite big property, big vineyard for to be Barolo vineyard. Okay? Now we have almost 7 hectares, one piece of vineyard, and the vines that are very, very old. The vines now they are 67, 70 years old wine. South exposure, unbelievable. You know why? I think we were lucky because from the vineyard we can make fantastic wine, great wine, and this wine has the power of Monforte or Serralunga Barolo, but it has also the elegance and the aromas of La Morra or Canubi, because it's not easy with Barolo. Sometimes Barolo could be very strong, but it's losing elegance. Sometimes it could be too light. Okay, it's losing the power. From this vineyard, you can make wine with great balance, From the beginning, the first vintage was 2000. From the beginning, we realized, wow, you can make something big, strong, with big shoulder, but always very elegant. And aging, fantastic, no problem to it.
I mean, it's something that we all, as journalists, play with because it's so hard. You know, every village or comune has its own, you know, traits, and they're true, right? You can feel those in the wines, a softer, silkier tannin in Lamoro, or more power in Serralunga d'Alba. But you know, where you are, it's true that it becomes kind of a mixed characteristics, borrowing from different, you know, from different sites and whatnot. So, and you have a beautiful vineyard, and you also have a farming philosophy that I always find very interesting. But how you harvest from the top side of the hill, the middle side of the hill, and the lower side of the hill in one crew or one
we do different selection in the vineyard. The fruit from the lower part of the vineyard is going to make a Barolo Garretti. The vines that are very old too. The fruit from the middle part of the vineyard.
Here's Garretti, right?
This one, And the fruit from the middle part of the vineyard is going to, we are using for Barolo Campé, orange label. And the fruit from the higher part.
You have a lot of wines, Giorgio. Here it is, Barolo Campé.
But we do another selection with the fruit from the higher part of the vineyard, and from the higher part of the vineyard we do Riserva. What it means Riserva? Magnum, only Magnum, and we are keeping the cellar minimum for 10 years. Now we
this is the one that here the Barolo Campé that I showed before. The Riserva. So it's in a Magnum. And it's released 10 years after the harvest. In this case, we have a 2009 here. Coming up.
It's fantastic. It's unbelievable wine because the vines are very old. When you talk about old vines, you talk about 70, 75-year-old vines.
Yes, I saw. It's incredible.
The production is very small. Sometimes we do 1,000 magnums. Some vintage we do 900. Some vintage 1,200. Not more than that.
So, but the age of the vines is the same on the entire slope. It's really just or depends.
It is why we are doing some vintage. We do 5 different harvests. We harvested in 5 different times. We harvest maybe, I don't know, for a couple hours up there. After we stop, and we go back to the vineyard in a couple of days, because it's very important for Barbaresco producer to be able to harvest the fruit when the tannin is ripe. You can make
the tannin is ripe.
You can make 40.5% alcohol, 15% alcohol wine, but if the tannin is not ripe, you have this green taste in the wine. You can keep in the cellar for 200 years, and the wine will die, and you taste, and the green taste is still there. It doesn't go away. This is why we harvest the fruit in different time.
Well, tell us a little bit about also the philosophy of doing the different layers, right? So on the top, I mean, you know, historically, in the region in Langhe, you know, farmers will put maybe, you know, on the middle part they'll put Nebbiolo, and then maybe on the top or the lower part they'll put a different grape because maybe the climate changes suddenly. There are huge little differences. But in your case, having it all kind of a one big slope, what are the differences you see in terms of ripening and flavor profile of the three different layers?
We do Barolo Garetti from the lower part of the vineyard because the soil is very generous. This white Garetti is showing very round, much more approachable than Barolo Campé or Barolo Campé Reserva. This is why we decide to do three different things, because the fruit from the Barolo Garetti part, the lower part of the vineyard, really, it's completely different thing. Completely different.
Because of erosion, there's more sand, or there's more.
Yes, there's more sand. Okay, we can find a lot of sand. Different. It's much more generous. No, it's giving a lot to the grapes. Yeah. And the middle part of the vineyard is different thing because if you go deep in the ground for 1 meter, after that it is like a stone. No, it's nothing else.
The topsoil it's a thinner topsoil. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and this is giving to Campé different minerality, different complexity too. This is why we are doing that. We are doing the three different selections.
Right, and it puts a little bit more hardship on the vine too, so it's producing. Okay, so the big question, Giorgio. Why the rhinoceros? Why we have the rhinoceros wine? Everybody calls, even to me, they said, "Oh, did you review the rhinoceros wine?" These are some of the most distinctive labels in Italy. So, I mean, they are immediately recognizable. So tell us a little bit about why the rhinoceros, who designed it, how did this come to be?
Think about that. Now, you know, now it's a lot of producers, a lot of people, that when they launch a new product, they think about the marketing and this. We decide to use the Rhino just because we like it. But it was great marketing because after 5-6 years, Rhino, it became the Spinetta logo. And now a lot of people, they go around, oh, this is Rhino wine, it is Rhino wine. They don't know if it's Barbaresco for $300 per bottle or if it's Barbera Cadipian for $50 per bottle, but it's Rhino wine. There is good story behind these animals. No,
here's the Barbera of the other. Another Rhino wine, right?
Yeah. There's more Rhino. You know, the artist, it was Albrecht Dürer. Albrecht Dürer is a German artist. Okay, we talk about 15th century. 15th century. He did something like this Rhino. He made this without to see the Rhino. No, he didn't see the Rhino, and the friend he described these animals. He did something like that. No. And for 300 years in Europe, it was the only Rhino.
Huh.
You know, really.
No, but I mean, I can imagine it's a symbol, right, as well, because it has, you know, it's a gentle animal, but it has a tough skin, you know, it has power.
True. You know, and from the same artist, we decide to use the lion for different reasons. For Barolo, lion is just for Barolo.
Lion is just for Barolo, yes,
Yeah, because if you go to Barolo, you ask the Barolo producer.
Yeah, there's a lion.
What it means Barolo? Barolo is king of the wine and also wine for king. And you know, lion is the king of the jungle. Yeah, this is why we decided to put the lion.
Well, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous labels. If anybody has any questions or anybody wants to ask anything, please go ahead. We're here to answer them. I'll ask you, Giorgio, a question that I know that has come up in the past. If you've seen any changes in your farming because of climate change, and also because you are working in different areas in Tuscany and in Piedmont, and even within Piedmont, you're working in different areas as well. Yeah. So you have quite a large extension. Yeah. And have you seen any changes?
Actually, I want to be honest, and in Piedmont, we don't have lots of problems so far, because Piedmont, we had 15, 20 years ago, we had the opposite problem. We were getting a lot of rain in the end of September and in the middle of September, and that was not good for the grapes. Now we can decide to harvest in the beginning of October or the middle of October, and the weather is always great, always good. I can see more problem in Tuscany, because in Tuscany it could be very hot and very dry. Yeah, but in Piedmont so far, no. So far we didn't have it. Of course, you have to work in the vineyard in a different way. You cannot take off the leaves. Okay, you have to cover the fruit because the weather's burn. It's a completely different thing. And but so far we don't have a lot of problems. And we decide to do something. For example, we are making also contractors sparkling wine. Sparkling wine.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
The last
Alta Langa, yeah.
Alta Langa. For me, Alta Langa means Alta Langa, means very high elevation vineyard. This is why we bought this big property in Bossolasco. Bossolasco is a very small town, and the vines now we have the vineyard elevation is almost 2,200 feet elevation, very high elevation. But there, I live there now. I live there. Just a couple of days ago, we had 13 degrees in the morning. 13, 1-3. You know, that is not so hot. We have this great opportunity in Piedmont to buy a new land in higher elevation. Higher elevation. You know, we can go up. You know, in Alta Langa.
Right. So yeah. But how many feet, how many meters above sea level did you say? About 500, no? Or
800, no, 820. Yeah,
820 is it? Oh my God.
Almost more or less 2,200 feet. Yeah. It's quite a lot.
Because, yeah, Alta Langa is really becoming one of the most exciting regions. And I have to say that I got so many samples this year, more than I ever have in the past, and wines that I've never seen before. All new. So I mean, there's a lot of exciting, and principally it's, you know, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. You know,
also,
kind of.
By the appellation, you can use just Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
And Chardonnay, yes, and they kind of, you know, a very loose, light, calcareous soils, high altitude, crisp. You know, great for acidities, minerality.
Now I want to say something, but I hope the other sparkling method classic producer from Italy they don't get angry about that. Offended, but I think Alta Langa, I think in the future, right now we are producing beautiful wine. There's a lot of producers, they do a very good job, but in the future it will be the most important area for Metodo Classico production in Italy, because the location of the vineyard, the elevation of the vineyard, the soil is perfect. It's perfect for to work in the vineyard well and to make great fruit for great sparkling wine. For example, Contratto, we are doing very good also because we are working with the sparkling wine with Barolo, Barbaresco producer mentality. Everything is about farming. Everything is organic. Okay? Very low yields, more production. We are taking good care of the vineyard. After that, okay, we are keeping in our cellar 5, 6, 7 years on the lease, sleeping there in the cellar. It's a completely different thing. Yeah. But we are very happy about this new project. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're beautiful wines, and I have to say, I absolutely agree with you that I have never, I mean, in the years that I've done my job, to see this sudden interest in Alta Langa and, you know, so much investment followed by so much investment, and, you know, people really putting their money where their mouth is by developing the concept of Alta Langa. I think there's going to be a huge potential. And it's pretty exciting to see this happening from the grassroots.
You are making me so happy about this.
Well, listen, we're getting a lot of questions now, Giorgio. So let's transition directly from Alta Langa into another new project, Morasso. Tell me a little bit about Morasso.
This is something very exciting for us. Right? Very exciting. We are, my two brothers and myself, we decided to invest in Morasso because now I want to tell you why. In Italy, I think we have a lot of beautiful grapes for red wine production. Okay, means because we can start from Nerello Mascalese, we can go up to I don't know, so many grapes, beautiful Nebbiolo, of course, Sangiovese, Prugnolo. But about white wine, we don't have a lot. I talk about indigenous grapes. I don't talk about Sauvignon or Chardonnay, indigenous grapes. Right. And Morasso is one of those. Morasso is one of the most important grapes for white wine production, and is from Piemonte, as is indigenous wine too. Why not? Why not to invest there and to try to do something very good? And another thing, Morasso area is quite small, and so the production is not big. All the producers, they do beautiful job there. Marsa, for sure, Marsa is the first one. Okay, come on, in my mind, but there are so many other grapes there, and they do beautiful job. And Morasso, in the past, the old Barbaresco producers, they used to say, Morasso is the white Nebbiolo. because he has something is so close to Nebbiolo, differently, but it's close to Nebbiolo because he has fantastic personality. He's something unique, again, like Nebbiolo, something unique. If you do blind tasting, is this glass of Timorasso there? You go there immediately. This Timorasso.
Right. And then obviously the aging potential, because it starts off, you know, a young Timorasso and an aged Timorasso are two completely different animals, because the wine takes on so much more fleshiness and volume, you know, and it grows in aromatic intensity. It just kind of, it just needs time. It just needs, it starts off with crisp, almost citrusy aromas, and goes into, you know, kind of an almondy.
When is okay, you can, if you can get Timorasso 5-6 years old Timorasso, it's going on also with the aromas going to this kind of honey and Riesling. You can feel this kind of minerality. It's unbelievable. Yes, it's developing very well. Okay, it's aging very well too. Okay, you can keep it there. There's an opportunity without any problem.
So when can we expect your Timorasso production? What is the
first vintage was 2019, and I think it will be in the market the beginning of next year. American market, because we are going to deliver this wine in October, November. Okay, we are. I want to be honest. We are very, very happy about this the first Timorasso we made. Very, very happy. We try to do something not so high in alcohol because this is part of my philosophy. And but he has a lot of complexity, good minerality. He has beautiful density in taste. Beautiful density in taste. Yeah.
He just jumped up on my table.
I thought you named this cat Timorasso. Can you put the Timorasso name to this cat?
No, oh yeah, yeah. His name actually is Maxi, but whatever. Close enough, right?
No, we are very excited.
He'd like to talk about Timorasso as well. Yeah. Listen, so okay, so we should expect the Timorasso in the fall. Can you give us? Is the label going to have a rhinoceros, or is it going to have another?
Of course. Yeah, the label is beautiful. Yeah, I like that. Okay, but we did very good with the label. The rhino with something like the copper around. Okay.
Oh, I see. Right, to give it. So we just actually got a question right now, which is actually timely, because we're talking about Timorasso, the white grape of Piedmont, and we got a question about Arnese and Gavi, and how would you compare the three grapes, and is Timorasso moving in the future where the other two maybe are left in a more, you know, a different time zone, or more, you know, backward?
Yeah, I think it would be very important for all the producer, also the people that want to do Timorasso, to buy land in Tortona, call it Tortonese. You know, this is so important because we have to build this area, the Colli Tortonese area, okay? Because if you, for me, it was also easy, no, to buy another 5-6 hectares, 10 hectares in Alta Langhe to work with Timorasso. But I think we need to respect the Timorasso area, because you need to respect also the producer that have been working with Timorasso since 20-30 years, and they did a beautiful job. It was not easy in the beginning, okay? This kind of respect. And also, I'm happy because so many other producers, they invested in Timorasso, but those producers, they have also beautiful exposure in so many markets. They are selling wine in China and Japan, United States. And that it would be easy also for us, okay, to build the brand of Timorasso, not just in Piedmont or Rome or Milano, also in New York, also in I don't know, Tokyo, in China, everywhere. This is very important, and there are so many other great producers that did beautiful investment there too.
Yeah, we spoke with Luca Corrado Vieti and his wife Elena, and they just introduced their first vintage of Timorasso as well. So it's very exciting to see this happening. Listen, okay, so we have a couple of other questions. One, you mentioned that you are farming organic. You have organic farming, and then also. Somebody asked, what are the most full-bodied Barolo Cru? Well, I mean, you farm. You have one main area for Barolo, but where are the most full-bodied? Where are your most full-bodied wines? It was a question, and also, how about your oak use? Can you tell us a little bit about your oak philosophy and oak use? Yeah. If you're looking for bigger wines, where would you go? And also, in general, how are you using oak?
Normally I look for very elegant wine, okay? Because it's quite easy for any producer to make big wine. You can work with the Nebbiolo grapes or Sangiovese. If you go high in alcohol, you use new oak, you make something very big. But if it's too big, it's losing the character from the grapes. I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
I like wine when you taste Nebbiolo, you have the grapes here. You taste Sauvignon Blanc, you are going to have this Sauvignon Blanc in your mouth. It's very important for us to, with the grapes, the grape is still there. This is why you need balance. You need balance. If you go too high, you are losing the balance. You make just big wine. This is not my philosophy. About this, the first question, of course, there are some vintages you can have bigger wine. Some other vintages they can have a much more elegant one. For example, 2000 was big vintage. 2000 was very round. 2000,
right.
It could be not a big vintage. 2010 it was not a very rich winter. Normally, if you have a very warm season, you make bigger wine, big, rich. Right. But my idea is to go the other way. I prefer to go in the other way to make more elegant wine, not big one. And so, oak in the cellar, we started in the beginning. When we started with Barbaresco, it was almost 100% new oak. After that, my taste changed too, and now we are down to 20% new oak, small barrels, barrels. Because this is part of our philosophy too. If you think about that, to make great wine, it means you have to do a beautiful job in the vineyard. Okay, you have just 90% from the vineyard and 10% maximum from the cellar. It means it's just interpretation. You have great, unbelievable fruit. You can make great wine with the small barrels or the big cask. It doesn't change a lot. It's just my taste. It's just the taste of the producer. No? It's changing. But we try to reduce the new oak because I prefer really to have more expression from the grape, from the wine. Yeah. I don't
so
like
it's been so over the years, your new oak has been reduced, but you're still using smaller barrels. Right.
French oak, of course, French oak, because it's the most elegant oak we can use. For my taste again. Okay, this is all about us. Okay, about the Spinetta winery.
And tell us also, in winemaking, I noticed also that you describe even the use of roto-fermenters during fermentation, which can be tricky, especially with a grape like Nebbiolo. Because you can almost extract too much, power and.
It depends. Okay, the road fermented depends on you. If you want to make this road ferment turn every 5 minutes, you make a marmalade.
Of course, yeah. Right, you make a marmalade.
But if you are smart enough, maybe 1 turn a day, just put down there
slowly.
Slowly, it's very soft. It's a machine. Okay. Also because that want to be honest. If you don't do that, okay, you have to wake up every night during the harvest at 2 o'clock in the morning and to go to the cellar to push down that. Okay?
Oh, I know. When I come to California, that's what I do. My brother says, you go to 5 a.m. shift. And then he calls. You're not there yet. Oh, okay.
you know the problem.
Yeah, pumping down, pushing over. Yeah.
If you buy this machine, it can do for you. Okay, just it. Okay. You have a computer. You put at 2 o'clock in the morning. Please do 1 tour. Oh, finish. I used it.
And listen, Giorgio, we had a question about vintages. Specifically, the person was asking about 2020 this year, how it's shaping up both in Piedmont and Tuscany.
The growing season is fantastic.
It's fantastic, huh?
Oh, because it's not too hot,
right?
Not too warm. Really, you get enough rain, enough water. It's perfect. Yeah, and during the days could be 25, 26, 27, but during the night it's going down to 18, 20. It's perfect. This year would be, if everything is going the right direction now. If we don't have any problem in August, okay, it would be not a great vintage. Okay, I guess something like 2010.
You think so? But what could be? I mean, obviously, knocking on wood that nothing happens. Yeah. But for what are the things that you fear the most to happen in a year? It would be
Is
hail or towards the
hail.
hail. But even heat, tell us about a little bit, because we've been getting, some warmer vintages, and Nebbiolo has a harder time with some of the warmer vintages, but that hasn't been as much of a problem as really than just violent weather like hail.
Yeah. Also because if the vintage is very warm, it's too warm, you can manage that. You can harvest my week before, okay? You can cover all the grapes, okay? Or the ones that get burned. But if it gets hell, it's destroying the thing. And now it's a terrible moment because it's not just you are losing quantity, you are losing quality. You are losing quality if it gets hell because it's destroying the thing. You cannot make great wine from the grapes anymore. Yeah.
It just destroyed,
All the things you can manage, no? You can manage, okay? You harvest 1 week before, you can do very strong green harvest, you cut more fruit, and then the water in the ground is enough for half a kilo per vine, so 1 kilo per vine, no? You can do that, you can do something, you can move, you can do something. But if you get something from up there,
right.
No, control it.
When you see the photographs of people that have had that kind of devastating hail damage, it is just the most heartbreaking thing. It's not just, not just the fruit has been ripped apart or ripped off. I mean, all the leaves are gone, the shoots, everything is just destroyed.
And also, if it's very strong, it's not easy to have good production than the next year.
It has a repercussion on the next year's growth.
Because the damage is very big.
The plant has been stunted that year.
Yeah.
So, Giorgio, so going back, so after 2016, which is for Barolo, the vintage that will be hitting the market, and 17, which is generally speaking the vintage hitting the market now for Barbaresco. Tell us a little bit about 17, and also tell us about 18 and 19, the two vintages in between that we should be waiting for.
17 vintage was very warm vintage. It was warm. This is why we harvested the fruit before, but almost 10 days before. The wine that's showing beautiful. It was also the production 17 was almost nothing because we did very strong green harvest 3-4 times to reduce the production of the vineyard.
Yeah, and 17 had hail too. No, in April it had. I mean, in some parts of Barbaresco it had hail.
Yeah. In April, some parts of Barbaresco it got hail too. Yeah, true. It was very early. It was very early. But I'm quite happy about the 17 vintage. The wine they're very generous, very approachable. No? The tongue is ripe. Perfect. This is the most important thing. The tongue is ripe, and they're very approachable. They're very. You can enjoy 17 before. Okay, 17 before then 16 for them. Okay, but it's beautiful wine especially for the restaurant.
For the restaurants, yeah. For more immediate consumption.
Yeah, you know what it means because we think the Barolo Barbaresco producer, they always think, okay, Barolo Barbaresco is the best wine in the world, and we know that they are one of the best wine in the world. But there not a lot of people they know. Not all the consumers they know everything about Barbaresco and Barolo. If they start to approach Barbaresco Barolo from young like 2016, like vintage, very very young vintage. And they're not prepared for that. It's not easy to understand and to like them immediately because they're very strong, very aggressive. But
they're hard to taste young, yeah.
If they start to drink Barolo, Barbaresco in vintage like 2017, they will love it because it's very approachable, easy to understand and to enjoy. After that, they can move little by little to 2010 vintage or another bigger vintage. 18. Great, 19, fantastic.
So we have a lot of good things to look forward to.
We are very lucky. Especially in Piedmont. We didn't have, in the last 20 years, we didn't have a lot of bad vintages, okay? 2002, it was okay.
Yeah.
14, it was great in Piedmont. Maybe we had some problem in Tuscany, but no more than that. Yeah,
14 was the underdog vintage that showed that surprised a lot of people because it was the expectations were very poor, and it's true that I found more problematic wines in Tuscany for 14, thinner and less kind of more shorter persistence, more watery on the end.
But they were very good.
No. In fact, I mean, everybody was quite pleased with with 14. Yeah. Even now I tasted a couple of wines, later release wines or Reservas from 14. And I have to say they're beautiful. They're very ethereal, very, elegant, light, sprightly. Yeah, they have a very beautiful kind of finesse and delicate quality, which is really gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. So between 18 and 19, give us a little bit of what are the
19,
specifics of those two?
19 has a little more character, okay?
A little bit more power.
More power. 18 is very elegant. We just bought it Barbaresco 2018, just couple of weeks ago. Really, they're so elegant. Wow. Very, very
So 18 was a bit cooler. It was a little bit cooler.
Very precise. They're not big. They're not super strong, but they're so good. They're very long too. Very long taste. They're very long taste. They're great Nebbiolo. Great Nebbiolo.
The classic textbook Nebbiolo. Yeah.
We have this first impression with our Lange Nebbiolo 2018. I think you tasted 2018 Lange Nebbiolo. Really is showing fantastic.
Yes, I have it here. Oh, here it is, right here.
I told my son, okay, like this one. I told my son, maybe it's the best Lange Nebbiolo we made so far.
Yeah, there's some beautiful Lange Nebbiolo. That's true. Yes, yeah.
This is good thing about Pima because this Nebbiolo could be great introduction to Barbaresco and Barolo, but it must be good. In the last 20 years, the producer Barbaresco Barolo, they did beautiful job with Lange Nebbiolo. In the past, it was not easy to find great Lange Nebbiolo because everything went. The best fruit when they went to Barbaresco Barolo production, and nobody was thinking about Lange Nebbiolo.
Right.
But it was a big mistake because, again, if somebody is not familiar with Nebbiolo, it's better for him to start with Lange Nebbiolo, great Lange Nebbiolo, much more approachable, much more generous, it's something you can understand better, okay? And after that, okay, it can go up to Barbaresco and Barolo, yeah.
It's true also that, the Lange Nebbiolo category is something that we've only seen in the last, not even 10 years, perhaps, that has come on with such strength and become such a, a viable wine for entry-level Nebbiolo at a pretty good price, very good price. And you get all of the intensity of the varietal, and you get all the character of Nebbiolo, in a more accessible way. They're terrific wines.
And the consumer has to be when it's tasty, great Lange Nebbiolo, great wine, Lange Nebbiolo from the winery, for sure, this great winery, this great producer. Because, it's very important that, if he's doing a good job with Lange Nebbiolo, the first wine he makes it, for sure with Barolo Barbaresco, it's making unbelievable wine. Yeah.
It's the test wine, right? You can test it.
True, test wine. Yeah.
Listen, Giorgio, this is a question that's a common question, but I've asked some of the other producers, and I think that people have enjoyed it. Are there certain wines that have inspired you in your career, at the beginning when you were seeking your own personal style? I know that you've talked about even your Sauvignon, that you were quite inspired by France, and how about in other parts of the world? Are there certain wines or regions that you can mention that have given you inspiration along your career?
More than one, because like I said before, I really like elegant wine. Okay, you can find something very elegant for sure in Burgundy. Also to Tempranillo. Think about it. The old Tempranillo, they're fantastic. A lot of time producers they're forgetting this variety. It's great variety. It's unbelievable. I get a lot from Tempranillo. Okay, because they're so elegant and they're also aging well without any problem.
Aging, the surprise.
Of course, when outside Italy, of course, okay, Burgundy. Bordeaux too, Bordeaux, the old Bordeaux, 12.5% alcohol, 30% alcohol, very good wines, unbelievable wines, so elegant. This is why I said before, we look for elegance in the wine. Yeah. And then about white, of course, Burgundy white and Sancerre. That's those wines, outside Italy.
So tell us also, Giorgio, a little bit about what the, obviously this has been such a strange year, but what is the feeling in Lange and Piedmont today? Because there's been a lot of talk about, properties selling for, vineyards selling for huge amount of money. It's difficult to find leases on some of the best, parcels, on some of the best MGA or cru sites. What is the, is there...
It didn't change a lot, okay?
It didn't change, yeah.
Also because we don't tell a lot of vineyard for sale, and it is not big offer, And
there's nothing,
price the same. Also because the producer, he owns great vineyard, it doesn't go to sell this vineyard, he wants to keep the vineyard,
Right.
There's not big market in that, And
you keep, Because I mean, we're getting new, you know, for example, Monvigliero in Verduno is a very popular site, or Ravera in Novello is a site that people look at. So there's a renewed attention to certain crews, and you do see people that are able to lease new parcels. So there is a certain amount of exchange, but it always strikes me that it's very insular. It's very neat. You know, who knows, who doesn't know. It's kind of a secret society of vineyard.
Well, you know what? I think there are so many other beautiful vineyards, Barbaresco and Barolo, but they need great producer to work in this vineyard. Think about Altare, Vignette Arborina. Before I was talking about Arborina. Think about Monvigliero, the same thing. Some producers did beautiful job there, and now you talk about Monvigliero or Ravera, or for us, Campé. Who was talking about Campé before we start to make wine? Nobody was talking about Campé. No. I think we have so many other beautiful vineyards, but maybe they produce the fruit and they are selling the fruit to the cooperative seller or to the big winery. They don't make wine there, or they're making wine not in a very good way. But for sure, the vineyard is there. The vineyard has strong character. It has a lot of potential too. I think more and more we can see some producer like I don't know, great producer Scavino, Altaro. They're working in some special single vineyard, not very well known, and they do a beautiful job. We have a lot of this vineyard. We have a lot of those.
Yeah, and both Scavino and Elio Altare have been, you know, they've changed around their portfolios in recent years, getting new leases or, you know, relinquishing others.
They're buying something, they bought something too. Okay, but perfect. But it's good. It's good. Yeah, it's good for Barolo reputation. No?
Now, is it your interest to look at other sites as well, or?
Yeah, it is something very good, great vineyard. We are looking for that. Yeah. But it must be not very well known. It must be great vineyard, like we did with Barolo Campé. When we bought Barolo Campé, but we saw the vineyard, we saw the exposure. So here we can make beautiful wine.
Yeah.
See, we are able to work and do a good job in the vineyard, and we did. And there are so many that we are still looking for that. Yeah, for Barbaresco.
Yeah, the Campé. I mean, you have that beautiful site because, again, you know, the kind of vastness of the you know, the span of the hillside, which is quite important. And then, you know, and then in front, it's almost like a, you know, an amphitheater. You know, they can keep in. Yeah.
True. And also, Campé Vineyard has this beautiful exposure because we can start with the southeast. After that, south, the middle part of the vineyard. Southwest, you can get all. You can have this kind of from the southeast. You can have a little bit more elegant wine, not so strong. From the south, stronger, and from southwest, you have something stronger. No? You can mix those southeast, south, and southwest exposure. You can make beautiful meat. Yeah.
We have a question about rosé, rosé production.
Yeah.
And what? Tell us more.
Yeah, I'll tell you immediately. You know what? I think also the same thing about rosé. In the past, it was not easy to find a lot of rosé. Of course, for France, you can, but from Italy, the Italian rosé, they were not so good, because at the time, 20 years ago, most of the producers, they used to make rosé when the vintage was not good. But the vintage is bad vintage for red wine production. It's bad vintage for rosé as well. Okay?
Right.
But it changed a lot. Now we can find something very good. Our first vintage was 2012. We tried some different blend before. 60% it was Sangiovese, 40% Rhinoceros, 20 and 80. But after that we find this kind of balance with 50-50, 50% Rhinoceros, 50% Sangiovese. And we make the rosé not the typical Italian way to make rosé. 14% alcohol, dark, rich, no? We make the rosé with 12.5% alcohol, you know, very light in color, very crispy, something you can enjoy. Something you can drink the bottle before to start to eat. This is rosé. When it's hot, when it's the summer or the spring, you open the bottle, and before you start to eat something, you have finished the bottle.
It teases your appetite, yeah.
Perfect. And then it was tough in the past to find more than 1 or 2 rosé in the list. And now the rosé in the wine list, maybe we will find 10 and they're all great. And I'm happy because in Italy now you can find great rosé from south, from Sicily to Trentino to Adige, everywhere.
Oh yeah, oh it's incredible. I mean, even from Etna to they're incredible.
Yeah. You know, and the producers, they learn very quickly to make rosé in the right way. Yeah, because rosé in the world, the rosé the people that are drinking, they're not 15% alcohol and 2 years old rosé. It's drinking something fresh, something tasty,
right?
Beautiful aromas, something with minerality too. No, something you really want to finish the glass. This is
some of them inspired a little bit more by Bandol in France, or the wines made in south of France. Cassis.
I like to say something. Our rosé is something very good too.
Well, all your wines are beautiful, Giorgio. They really are a pleasure to taste. And then even when you get to something as gorgeous as
Pasito.
Pasito, gorgeous, and the Moscato d'Asti. Everything has been a beautiful pleasure to taste. And listen, we're getting close to the end of the hour, so
really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, that is Friday.
No, Giorgio, it's been wonderful to talk with you, and wonderful to go over your wines and whatnot. I don't know if anybody has any last minute questions. I see somebody's asking a question about fermentation, but I don't quite understand it. Maybe if you want to write a question later on in the comments, we'll try when we post up the video on the site. And if Giorgio wants to answer anything there, I'm sure he'll be happy to. And that's it. Yeah. Thank you everybody for
Ciao, grazie
mille. Oh, I
mille.
see somebody wants to meet you. My dream is to meet Giorgio Rivetti.
But if you want to meet me, he has to come to Piemonte now. He has to fly.
Well, yeah.
We cannot fly.
I highly recommend a visit to his beautiful winery. I think that everybody who loves wine will enjoy to see the philosophy there. It's really incredible, impeccable, just the perfection of everything that it's done. You do a beautiful job.
And Piedmont, fantastic region. Langhe, please. Langhe, they're fantastic. You come there, you can go to visit so many great producers, and the food is not bad. The food is great.
Food is not bad. And then if you go during truffle season, you can have
so there's so many good restaurants there. Thank you.
Giorgio, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us. And, we'll speak soon. Alla prossima. Thank you, everybody, for following. And that's it. We'll see you next week.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao, Giorgio. Grazie.